Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lukobiri, calls for increased investment in Africa's energy sector at OPEC seminar. And Kogi State government embraces hydroponic farming to boost food production. Hello and welcome to the late evening news on NTA News24, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Frama Panyi. You've heard the headlines and now details. We begin from Brazil, where President Bola Tinubu has departed Rio de Janeiro after attending the 2025 BRICS summit hosted by Brazil. The presidential 001 flight took from the Galeão Air Force Base, Rio de Janeiro, at about 1 p.m. Brazilian time. The president, who was invited on account of Nigeria as a partner country by the Brazilian President Luiz Lula da Silva, addressed the gathering on the first day of the summit of heads of state and government of the emerging economies in the world. He called for re-evaluation of the current global governance structure and the financial and healthcare systems, urging greater equity and inclusion for low-income and emerging economies, particularly in Africa. Nigeria became the 9th partner country of BRICS in January 2025, joining Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, Uzbekistan. President Tinubu departed Nigeria on June 28 for St. Lucia, where he established a formal bilateral relationship with the host country and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. And from Rio de Janeiro, we head to Vienna in Austria, where the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Senator Heineken Lukobiri, is urging the international community, particularly the global north, to accord Africa its rightful position as a vital part of the global energy landscape. Lukobiri wants investment opportunities deepened to support the continent's development. Later Samson reports on minister participation from the ministerial session of the 9th OPEC International Seminar in Vienna, Austria.
On the theme, oil markets, energy security, growth and prosperity, Heineken Lukobiri emphasized that Africa can only contribute meaningfully to global energy security if empowered through investment like other regions of the world. He reiterates that Africa cannot be excluded from the solutions while being most affected by the challenges.
We need to optimize production in Africa. Nigeria, had enormous, refining capacity, but we don't even have the crude to be able to, to meet the demand of, not just Nigeria, but the entire West African sub-region. In Nigeria, whatever you produce in Nigeria services the West African sub-region. If you import, any refined product into Nigeria, and the players who are in the industry, here can bear me witness. If you import any quantity of refined product into Nigeria, it services the countries that are within the West African sub-region: Chad, Niger, the Republic, Cameroon, up to Central African Republic. So we need investment in all the sectors.
The minister highlighted Nigeria's bold reforms under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, which have repositioned the country's energy sector and created a more stable, transparent and investment-friendly environment. Heineken Lukobiri noted that Nigeria holds enormous capacity in the oil and gas sector, particularly in refining. He, however, acknowledged that increased investment is needed across the upstream, midstream, and the downstream value chains to unlock the country's full potential. He urged the global north to support Africa's development and integrate the continent into the broader global energy transition. The minister also reaffirmed Nigeria's readiness to lead regional collaboration and investment-friendly growth in the energy sector. Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And back in Nigeria, advocacy for a holistic review of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1999 as amended to save the country from constant amendments of the Constitution is underway. A member of the inner bar of the legal profession, Mohammed Ndarani Mohammed, SAN, made the advocacy in Abuja. Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk reports.
As the Grundom establishes the fundamental principles and framework for governing the state, it defines the structure of the government, its powers, and the relationship between the government and the citizens, including the protection of their rights and freedoms. It is in the light of this that the Constitution, as the fulcrum of governance, must have the input of the people. The ongoing constitutional amendment, being championed by the National Assembly, is to improve on the subsisting constitution of the country. The process must draw from the peculiarities of Nigeria, the demographics, the ethnicity, the economic structure, as well as many other variables that make up Nigeria.
There is therefore a great need for the National Assembly to make provision for a proper referendum prior to amendments to those critical areas of the Constitution.
Between 2007 and 2025, 5 amendments have been made to the Grundom crafted by the military for Nigeria.
I also align my humble self with the indigenship bill tabled by the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Ben Kalu, who proposed a bill to grant indigenous status to individuals who have resided in a state for 10 years or married a natives.
As the plenary for the review of the Constitution is billed for October 2025, Mohammed Ndarani Mohammed SAN advised that the voice of the people should be heard to ensure a greater relevance and acceptability of the outcome. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Into politics, now Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno is assuring APC faithfuls and stakeholders in the state of his commitment to building a strong and united party structure. Speaking during the official handing over of the party structure to him, Governor Eno urged party leaders in the different wards in the state to embrace a new change. Clement Barakwi has details.
This is the first stakeholders meeting with the party's structure after Governor Umeno's defection to the All Progressives Congress. Governor Eno reiterates his commitment to building on the new and existing party structure in the state.
I've never hidden my likeness for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This president is bold and very audacious.
President of the Senate, Gasula Pabio, while commending the governor for his visionary leadership in unifying people from different political divides, called on people of the state to support and lean on each other, irrespective of political affiliation.
I made up my mind that since God has made it possible for me to become a Senate president, instead of fighting with my state governor, I would rather work to progress the state.
The APC state chairman, Stephen Tugepo, as well as other leaders of the party from different levels, while applauding Governor Umeno for operating an inclusive government, assured the president of the Senate and the governor of the party's loyalty. High point of the event was the official handover of the state APC structure to the new leader of the party, Governor Umeno, by the Senate president. The state APC, through a voice vote, thereafter endorsed President Tinubu for a second term. Clement Barkui, NTA News.
And now Governor Alex Otti has charged the managers of the Aba Export Growth Lab project to uphold high standards and never compromise on quality as part of efforts to boost exports and drive economic development within the state. Governor Otti gave the directive during the unveiling and inauguration of the Aba Export Growth Lab held in Aba, Abia State. Jude Obiora completes the report.
Speaking during the inauguration, Governor Alex Otti emphasized that the commissioning of the Aba Export Growth Lab is aimed at supporting entrepreneurs in the state to structure their production processes, standardize their products, and package them in a way that ensures competitiveness in the global market. He added that his administration has no intention of making financial gains from the project, but is committed to supporting and uplifting entrepreneurs across the state.
What we have come here to do is to package and brand their products in such a way that it will be competitive in the international market.
Earlier in his address, the Commissioner for Industry and SMEs, Mike Akpara, stated that the Aba Export Growth Lab was established to create a pathway for businesses in Aba and Abia State to access the global market. He pointed out that the project is designed to empower entrepreneurs and enhance their visibility on the international stage. In her remarks, the UNDP resident representative in Nigeria, Esia Atofua, applauded the visionary leadership of Governor Alex Otti, which she said led to the birth of the initiative. She described the project as a laudable step toward economic transformation.
When we invest in local enterprise and when we connect the genius of our people to global demand, this is when we are turning ambition into exports.
The event also featured a presentation by the Chief Executive of Trans-Sahara Consulting, France Anatogo, as well as inspection of a product exhibition by Governor Otti. In Omahia, Jidobera, NTA News.
And still from the God-owned state, the state government has signed a memorandum of understanding with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, to accelerate sustainable development efforts across key sectors of the state's economy. Again, Judo Buera has details.
In his speech, Governor Alex Otti stated that the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding marks a significant milestone in the relationship between the Abia State government and the United Nations Development Programme, as well as a major step in the state's developmental journey. He described the MOU as a turning point in Abia's development trajectory and pledged the full implementation of its provisions.
For us, this MOU marks a significant hop in our journey. It means clearly that we can count on your support because we have a document now. But we will go out to do what we have to do to ensure that we do not let you down.
Earlier, the UNDP resident representative in Nigeria, Esia Atofua, commended the achievements of Governor Otti's administration, noting that the MOU aligned with the UNDP's mission to promote inclusive and sustainable development at the subnational level.
Aba is showing us the way, and we believe Aba is going to provide the economic renaissance that Africa needs.
Atofua described the agreement as the first landmark MOU signed with the state under the framework of what the UNDP calls the Integrated Smart States Accelerated Development Initiative. She also described the event as a truly historic occasion. The ceremony featured the formal signing of the Memorandum of Understanding. In Omahia, Jidobera, NTA News.
We'll pause here and take a short break. We will come back with more news.
The Ojude Oba festival arrived like a drumbeat in the sky. And who better to spark the rhythm than Glow, an evening with Glow, where legends come alive. On Sunday, the streets became the kaleidoscope of royalty. Agbadas swirling, Ashoke glowing Ijebu culture in full bloom as the people paid homage to the Awujale, their king and paramount ruler. Amid the beauty, cars, tricycles, bags of rice were shared. From Glow to the people, we honor you. And as the sun dipped low, a grand royal banquet unfolded, where none other than Adewale Ayuba brought joy to the table and legacy danced into the night. Catch the full highlights package on NTA.
Welcome back. And talking agriculture now, in Kogi State, agriculture is receiving a boost with women and youth trained in hydroponic system of farming begin experimentation aimed at making the state the food basket of the nation. Ajibola Christopher reports that the significant shift is leveraging soil-less farming initiative to promote food security and economic empowerment.
Agriculture as the mainstay of Kogi State economy is being revolutionized to boost food sufficiency and security. The latest innovation policy of the state government is the agrophonic training of women and youth, providing significant benefit as an alternative source of income, reduce the reliance of traditional system of farming, provide opportunities for local food production, as well as reducing transportation cost of farm produce. The system of farming is also critical for the promotion of food security, economic empowerment, and sustainable development.
Whatever you think you can produce with 2 hectares, 3 hectares, you can use a small space in smart agriculture and achieve the same because it's a cycle, all year cultivation. So you'll be making use of irrigation services, providing your own water to water the farm. You don't depend on rain-fed farming. You are depending on your water that you are providing. The agronomic practices can easily be managed. So the pest control and what have you can manage it within the little space. And above all, this issue of header farmer clashes will be minimized. By the time all our valuable spaces within our homes are utilized for farming, everybody sees that Kogi State is serious.
With the return of the first batch of trainees on solace farming from Ogun State, all is now set for its implementation, expanding the scope of agriculture in Kogi State, offering smart and climate-friendly methods of food production.
The immediate intervention of government is establishing that farm. You know, whatever you train on, you need to leverage on it. You need to practice it for some time so that you now become perfect on it. One, that is government incentive. And secondly, government is, we are going to bring them together, look at their experience, their knowledge, we share their knowledge, then we'll now see areas that we can just help them with starter pack.
Another batch of trainees have departed the state for Ogun State, emphasizing government commitment to promoting soilless agriculture as a pathway to self-employment and financial independence. Ajibola Christopher, NTA News.
Now, a generation of young scholars has emerged, having successfully completed an intensive program of Quranic studies and memorization at a STEM Learning Center. The graduation ceremony was a testament to their dedication, perseverance, and love for the word of Allah. Sheikh Muhammad Dati reports.
من الضأن اثنين ومن المعز اثنين أن اقذفيه في التابوت فاقذفيه في اليم فليلقه اليم بالساحل يأخذه عدو لي وعدو له.
It was a joyous celebration of faith and knowledge as young students marked the completion of their Quranic studies with a special graduation ceremony. 40 young hoppers who had spent time studying and memorizing the Quran beamed with pride as they received their certificates.
At the beginning, I felt like I couldn't do it, but now I'm very confident.
They should work hard to achieve their dreams.
So happy because my parents are proud of me.
Their journey wasn't easy, requiring long hours of study, dedication, and sacrifice.
Discovered that it is possible for a child to memorize the Quran before he finishes college. So we set out to do it. As we were planning and working towards it, we started getting students from our primary school, pupils from our primary school, memorizing the Quran.
Let their life reflect the Quran. Let everything they do about them be Quranic. And we pray that Allah will bless them and continue to make them blessings to humanity.
The ceremony was attended by parents, family members, friends, and Islamic scholars who gathered to celebrate these young students' achievements.
I'm grateful to Almighty Allah for this blessing, for having 3 Hufaz, 3 memorizers of the Holy Quran, of the Noble Quran in my family.
I am overwhelmed that we have our children spiritually connected to the Holy Quran.
The graduation highlighted the importance of Islamic education and the role young hoopers play in preserving and promoting the Quran's teachings. In Abuja, Sheikh Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
Now, the National Orientation Agency is leveraging opportunities in the duty of care contained in the National Values Charter recently launched by federal government to advance the maxim that says health is wealth. They say, and a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. Kenneth Nanim reports that the agency and its partners staged a street walk to escalate conversations on sickle cell, a genetic disorder that affects hemoglobin production in red blood cells, in order to promote education, early diagnosis, and improved care for those affected.
These are sickle cell patients. As young as they are always faced with health crises. They refer to themselves as warriors because every day they battle for survival. Victoria is also a warrior. She shares her experience with us on how she's been coping with sickle cell for 42 years and more.
You can't even say this is what will trigger it. So crises occur when you don't expect it. I keep myself hydrated all the time. I take my folic acid, I take paludrin just to stay healthy.
To create more awareness on this health challenge, the National Orientation Agency and partners staged a walk around the Jabi area of the FCT, and their message is simple.
Before you get married, you should at minimum know your genotype. If you know your genotype, it will help you to make an informed decision in order with you and your partner, so that your children that you are going to have will not be a sufferer of sickle cell disease.
1 out of every 4 Nigerians is either AS, which is a sickle cell carrier, or has sickle cell. So 25% of the population is already affected. So it has become a national issue.
For the patients, there is an advice that will help them remain healthy.
They should take their anti-malaria regularly and folic acid, which will help them persistently to be able to build their blood level.
The work is also to encourage caregivers not to relent. The message is also for the society to desist from any form of discrimination or stigmatization against these persons who suffer a situation that is not their own fault. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
You're watching the late evening news at 11 on NTA News24, and here is a recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu departs Brazil after 2025 BRICS summit. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken Lokobi calls for increased investment in Africa's energy sector at OPEC seminar. Kogi State government embraces hydroponic farming to boost food production. Now, the Embassy of the Arab Republic of Egypt in Nigeria has celebrated the 74th anniversary of the historic July 23rd revolution of 1952 at a special ceremony in Abuja. The event was described as a significant milestone in Egypt's pursuit of full independence and socio-economic development. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports.
The Egyptian ambassador to Nigeria, Mohammed Fouad, received members of the diplomatic corps, government officials, development partners, and friends of Egypt, marking the country's National Revolution Day. In his remarks, he reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to strengthening ties with Nigeria and expressed hope for peaceful and prosperous Africa.
We are proud of the growing people-to-people exchange between Egypt and Nigeria that has significantly intensified over the last few years through tourism, business, education, constituting a solid foundation for our bilateral relations.
Ambassador Fouad described the 1952 revolution as a turning point in Egypt's modern history, highlighting its role in expanding access to education, healthcare, and land ownership.
First is the aviation area. Secondly, communication, transportation, agri, defense, security, name it. Nigeria has strong ties with Egypt.
I also want them to be fluent in Arabic as well as complete their recitation of the Quran. So for those reasons, I have moved half of my family to Egypt.
The ceremony echoed calls for Middle East ceasefire, the release of hostages, and renewed dialogue for peace. In Abuja, Suleiman Tobu Abdul Wahab, NTA News.
And this is where we conclude the news tonight. Thank you for being a part of it. I am Frama Panyi. Have a good night.